Hey everybody, welcome back to the main room. I'm super pumped. Been looking forward to this session for a long time. This session is going to be coached by the closer. You're going to watch a couple rookie sellers, a couple rookie investors calls get roasted here with the one and only Steve Trang. Welcome to Summit, man. How you doing?
Doing good. I'm super excited. I'm really appreciative that I have this opportunity to work with you guys on this.
Yeah, well, right back at you, man. We're honored to have you on. This is going to be fun. First time we've ever done this at Summit before. And so here's what this is going to look like, guys. We have about an hour. Steve, you have a hard stop at 2. Is that correct?
No, we can go long.
Okay. So I think we have about 2:10 in the schedule. Braden will flag me if I'm wrong. But here's what this is going to look like. We will bring in our rookie investors. I should say rookie negotiators because they might not be rookie investors, but at least negotiators. Our friends Nick and Sergio in just a second. And we've got 2 seller calls, one from each of them. They're about 15, 17 minutes. And I'm going to be playing those so you guys can see and listen to the calls. And then Steve, what you'll do is just flag me, wave a hand, or just say, hey, pause there. And I will pause the video for you. And just feel free to be relentless and roast and coach. Sound good?
Perfect. Sounds great.
All right, let me bring in our wonderful guests, our new friends, Sergio, Nix. Welcome to Summit. How you guys doing?
Great.
I'm doing good. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys. Yeah, thanks so much for hopping on Summit. You guys ready? Excited?
I don't know if we're ready yet, but we'll see.
Oh, I'm ready.
Ask me in 30 minutes.
This is good. This is good. A quick reminder, anybody watching with us, make sure that in the bottom of the YouTube player, make sure it says live and there's a little red dot. So if you've paused this video on the main page at any point, then it will just pick back up. When you hit play, it'll pick back up wherever you paused it. So either hit the live button on the YouTube player or refresh the page to make sure that you're with us live so that your comments aren't delayed and we can answer you in pretty close to real time. But all right, let me pull this seller call up. Before I do that, Nix, we're going to play your call first. In like less than a minute, give me just the rundown on where did the lead come from. Actually, do this. What's your experience? How long you been investing? What market? Where'd the lead come from? And what happened with the deal?
Okay. Yeah, happy to do that. I'm Nick Sherwin. My company is We Buy 502. We're located in Louisville, Kentucky. I still feel like I'm a rookie learning something new every day, but I've been at this for about 3 years. We're closing about 12 deals a year on average. We think there's upside to that, but we think there's lots of opportunity. So this lead's an SEO lead. It actually comes, most of my leads are SEO. So shout out Carrot and shout out Keith Sant for getting us dialed in there. Let me give you a little bit of context about the call. Woman's name here is Lindsay. You're going to hear it in her voice from the start. She is going through what I think is a nasty divorce, and she's sort of at her end of opportunities or decisions that she has to make about getting this property moved. So I unfortunately did not close this deal. I found out that a couple days ago. We were close, but hopefully Steve will get us sorted out so we close the next one this time it comes up.
Sweet. That's perfect. Thank you, man. Steve, it's on you. Now you got to save the deal, man. We're going to close this deal for Nix. All right.
Down.
Let me pull it up here. Steve, if you want me to pause, just wave at me, holler, throw something at me. Here we go.
Hi, is this Lindsay?
Yes, it is.
Hey, Lindsay. My name's Nick Sherwin with We Buy 502. I think you may have just filled out some information online, maybe on our website?
Yeah.
Okay. So I see.
Was that you waving at me, Steve?
Yeah. So
Let's
the
do
first thing is hi, this is Lindsay. And then hi, this is Lindsay is that you're demonstrating that you don't know her. And in demonstrating you don't know her, the natural reaction is this is a salesperson. So just something to be cognizant of. Like, one of the challenges we have is we inject sales resistance into a conversation. So I say, hi, this is Lindsay. I am subconsciously letting you know I don't know you, you don't know me. So whenever I get a lead, I was like, hey, Lindsay, this is Steve. You just fill out a web form, right? Something like to command the attention versus like, hi, is this Lindsay? It's that it demonstrates that you don't know me, and there's a little bit of, you're less confident, right? So it's just the positioning. So something small here, but like every call I start off with, as if you were expecting my call, because you filled out a web form, which means you want me to talk to you. So I'm calling you like you asked me to.
That's good.
That's it.
let's see. This is about 6704 Marion Drive. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay, awesome. All right, so I was just confirming a few details on that property. So you've got, let's see, 925 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. And talk to me a little bit about the repairs and the maintenance on here. I see you've got like remodel, kitchen, bathrooms, roof. Can you just give me a rundown on what's going on there?
The only major things like that would need to be done is we've
Okay, so
got
pause
a
it here.
partial.
So I'm not seeing here kind of setting expectations for this conversation. So will you later on set expectations for the conversation, or are we going like right into the property?
Not sure how to answer that, Steve. We will usually open it up with the property because it's the easiest thing that I find them to talk about. And then I start
Sure.
to work angles once we get into the call. So it's usually just setting up some initial rapport, some initial conversation. But I will start to, I think, set some level of expectation, maybe not to your standard.
Okay, well, and that's fine. So I just want to make sure that at some point we do that, right? Because like we're going into it. If you want to talk about the property first, it is a way to lower the guard. I like to just set expectations as early as possible, to say, it's gonna be yes or no, and you're promising me you're not gonna think about it. And we can talk about it later on when it comes up. But if you're gonna do it later on, then that's fine. I just want to make sure that we do that before we get into why you're selling, because once you get into why you're selling, the next logical step is talking about price. And we don't want to set expectations right before price, because then like, whoa, like back off. That's a little harsh. So
That's good.
Anyway, you can continue, Brady.
All right, I'll hit play. And Nix or Steve, Nix, you know the call better than I do. This is about 15, 16 minutes. If there's a part where you want to scrub ahead a minute or two talking about the property, then feel free, but no pressure. We have time to play the whole thing.
Bathroom remodel we did in the shower surround. It obviously doesn't match the outside of the shower, but it's been decent enough, I guess. The kitchen, it is nothing's been updated in that. We've lived here 15 years. The roof was just put on in February, so we're good there.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. Okay, and so the kitchen's a little out of date. You got a bathroom sort of halfway.
Great summary.
Working that way. What about the HVAC? Is it blowing cold air right now?
It is. That was actually, the furnace was replaced in 2014, I
So
do
pause
believe.
here. So something you did there, which is normal, right? Like we all do this, is you ask 2 questions in a row. Hey, what about the HVAC? Is it blowing cold air? The first question is good enough. Hey, tell me more about the HVAC. You stop. But we have this desire, all of us do, to kind of fill in that awkwardness. So you just got to embrace the awkwardness. Like, hey, tell me more about the HVAC. And that's it. And let her talk.
That's good.
And continue.
Okay. 2014. All right. And so forgive me if you know what this is. So sometimes there's a big unit that's outside as well, and that runs the AC. Was that one replaced this thing? Has not. Okay. But it's still operational. It's still.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's see. What about the windows? Have those ever been replaced since you guys have lived there?
Not since we've owned it, no.
Okay. Do you happen to know if they're the vinyl type windows or the wood type windows?
Brady, can we skip
they're
forward
wood.
to pass the property details?
Wood, okay.
They have it fixed. Looking probably within the next 30 days, they have it fixed.
Okay, so right there is good.
Yeah, I don't know how. It's always something, right?
It is.
Okay. All right. So it gives me a little bit to work on so I can get a sense for it. Talk to me a little bit about your timeline on selling the property.
Looking probably within the next 30 to 60 days. The divorce should be finalized here shortly, I'm hoping, so that we can get past that. The house is the issue. We've had a couple people come out and look at it. The lowest one person offered was 110.
Oh my goodness.
We're just trying to get some money to make sure that we can both survive after the divorce.
Gosh.
I'll pause it here.
I'm sorry. 5 square feet.
So Nix, when you're hearing that, like, had a couple people come through, lowest offer guy's 110, and I heard you say, oh my goodness, What are you processing here?
What I'm thinking through at the time, I'm actually doing live comping while we're having the conversation. So I have a sense for like market value of the house. I'm running sort of where my offer would be. My point there, what I was trying to do was to empathize with her around price and just make sure that she understands.
You did.
Like, I know that's under market value. It's sort of a lowball offer. You'll end up hearing where my price comes in. I'm actually not terribly far off from where that is, but I'm again just trying to set these like bits of trust along the call.
Yeah, and that's great, right? Like you're setting empathy. Oh my goodness, I do the same thing. Doesn't matter what it is. Oh yeah, that sounds terrible, right? I'm down for all that. I think the big thing is when I'm listening to a call or when I'm running a call, if I hear we've had 1 or 2 people come out, they're low. In my mind, like it's just a mental note, and this for everyone else too. Is like, all right, she's ready to do something like right now, right? So then I'm asking like, what are you hearing? For me, like I'm hearing like I need to lock this up today. Because if I let this another day go, she's talking to people like this thing could be gone at a moment's notice. So when I'm asking like, what are you hearing, like that's what I want to make sure we take away from this. Like this has to be. I have to do everything I can to get a contract like on this call if you're doing it virtually, or I need to do everything I can to get an appointment in person today if I'm doing it face to face. Like I just want to make sure we're capturing that urgency on this conversation.
Great point.
And
Oh my goodness.
we're just trying to get some money to make sure that we can both survive after the divorce.
Gosh, I'm sorry. It sounds like it's pretty heavy right now.
Great label.
So when you say 30 to 60 days to get it moved, talk me through that. So, and I'll explain why. So we can typically buy houses in a matter of a couple of weeks. Like if we got a sense of, hey, we worked something out price wise.
So you asked
that
like you
sounds
kind
like
of
it would be-
like tell me why, and then you started, or you walk me through the 30, 60 days. Great, right there. Stop. Listen to what she has to say. Here you started talking about what we do, and nobody cares about what we do. And I'm not saying like no one cares about what you do, Nix. It's not that. It's like no one cares about what we do, right? At the end of the day, if they get their money when they want their money, that's it. That's all they care about, right? Can you solve the problem in the time they need the problem solved by? How we get there is irrelevant to them so long as the outcome is the same. And so what we do sometimes is we like to talk about here's what we do, here's how we're different, here's why we're great, and so on. And whenever we do that, there's an internal dialogue in their mind, like what does this have to do with me? Or they're going to judge and assess, okay, is that what I want or not what I want? And anytime you educate, what you do is you're actually inserting additional objections that didn't have before. So they should have very little detail as to exactly what you do and how you do it. All they need to know is they need to have certainty, confidence, and peace of mind that you can solve their problem in the time they need the problem solved by. So like, for example, I don't want to take too long because I know we have a whole call here, but like, does anyone here actually know how to make an iPhone?
How to make an iPhone, you said?
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
No.
No, right? We don't know like all the parts that go into making an iPhone. But if I go to Apple Store and I get an iPhone and it connects to a cell tower and I can make phone calls, I'm good. I don't actually care how it's done. So I just want to impress upon everybody. No one really cares about the how. As long as I could do what I needed to do, I don't care how it works.
That's a good analogy. I like that.
All right, so go ahead.
Too
Continue.
soon. Can you just give me a sense for like what's driving your timeline?
Money. Just make sure we have enough money to find a place that he can go, I can go, and that we have enough money to survive on getting started again.
Okay. Yeah, you're using the word survive. It sounds like
We don't have,
you got
we
like
have zero savings.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great mirroring, by the way.
So, all right. Do you have a mortgage on the property right now?
We do. I think we owe, I would say roughly $56,000 is what I looked at.
So pause it there.
55 and
Totally innocuous question. Do you have a mortgage on it? Right? Like, hey, let's just find out. I would open it more, kind of like softer. Hey, I'm curious. How much do you still owe on your mortgage? Right? Like, do you is a yes/no question. In our sales process, we generally don't like to ask any yes/no questions, except for when we're setting expectations and when we're wrapping up the sale. Beyond that, every other question, like in the middle, everything is a what, how, when, who. Like everything's got to be an open-ended question, right? Hey, you know what, Nick? I'm curious. How much do you owe your mortgage again? It's an easier question to answer versus do you have a mortgage on it? It can be like, and like it's harder to lie to that question. It's manageable. It is harder to lie to that question, but like, do you questions tend to lead to lies? It's easier for them to hold their guard up.
That's good.
Other
Right.
amount. So I would just, round it up to 56. But
Okay.
we've been
So you
here
got-
15 years.
Okay. So you got a little bit of equity that's in the property, and you're hoping to get that equity out, split it. I don't know. Maybe I don't need to know how you guys
Yeah,
have
that's
worked
actually what we
sort of
were
that.
looking for.
So pause
Okay.
here. So equity is one of those words that we don't like to use.
Okay.
Equity, like for every person here, like equity is like it's a throwaway. Like we obviously know what equity is, right? But if you've never been in real estate before, do you know what equity was? Maybe you did. Maybe you did. I didn't know what the word escrow meant until I was ready to buy my first investment property, right? This back in 2005. Before we bought real estate, I made it my whole life without knowing what the word escrow meant, right? That's probably true for a lot of us. And so anytime you say a word that might confuse them, now clearly she knew what equity was, but anytime you say a word where they're not sure, they feel a little less safe. And so anytime they feel a little less safe, this is what brings the guard up, right? I'm uncertain as to what he's talking about. I have to do some more research. What did he say there? I want to make sure I got to protect myself. So we don't want to ever say any words that are industry specific. I mean, that's not really industry specific, but we want to always talk in a way like we're talking to a third grader, right? If we can talk in a way where we're talking to like we're talking to a third grader, we can communicate a lot more effectively. Anytime we say things like equity, escrow, due diligence, like these are things like what did this person just say?
That's good.
All right. There's a couple options we can go, but probably the easiest and most convenient way is just making possibly a cash offer on the property, just something clean and simple. We can do a couple of different things. We can do what we call delay possession as well. So we could buy the house and you could be out by the time that we close on it. But in certain circumstances, we've actually closed on a house and say like, hey, we need 2 to 3 weeks to get the cash in hand.
All right, so pause
And
here.
then find.
So there's two things you did here. And again, like what you're doing here is something that I've done a whole bunch in the past as well, right? So like, again, not to beat up on you.
That's what we're here for. It's okay, Steve.
Yeah. So our clients now, we don't say cash offers. We can put cash in your pocket. We could put cash in your hand. We could put money in your hands. We don't do cash offers, right? Like what is an offer? They didn't sign up for an offer, right? They want cash. Cash solves their problem. Offers don't solve their problem, right? So hey, look, I think this is a situation where if it makes sense, we could probably put some cash in your hands. Versus like, hey, we can make a cash offer, right? Cash in your hand is something you can picture. Cash offer, it's kind of harder to picture, right? So hey, Nick's is a situation where we could possibly put some cash in your hands, and then we talk about the delay possession. And what you're doing here is you're kind of like, here's some things that we do that might be helpful to you, right? You're kind of putting some feelers out there. If I were to put a feelers out there, I would do a third party story. Hey, Nick, I'm not sure this applies to you. Some of the homeowners that we worked with, they found it was easier if we were to put some money in their hands first, and they could stay in the property a little bit longer, and then move that when it was easier for them. Other people, what they wanted was like they didn't care when they got their cash, or they didn't care about staying in the property before or after they got the money in their hands. Which one do you think would be better for you? Or I don't suppose you'd be beneficial for you to do that, right? But we're talking about like, here's something that happened for someone else. Do you want it? Versus like, hey, here's something cool we do, and then they hear it. If it doesn't land, they're like, well, that's got nothing to do with me. Like, why'd you tell me that? But we say, hey, here's something that we did for someone else. And they could say, oh, I want that. That sounds cool. It's like, don't worry about it. It doesn't apply to me. And then we can continue, but there's no risk to putting that out there. So anytime I'm putting something out there, it's not like, hey, here's something I can do. It's like, hey, here's something I did for someone else. Would you want that? No? Okay, cool. No big deal. And then we just continue. So that's the way we pitch our features and benefits.
This is good. Nix, I see you taking notes. Nick, Sergio, we will hook you up with the recordings. I want you guys to be able to soak it in. Keep taking notes if you want, but I'm like, this is a lot. So we'll get you guys the recording so you can go back and listen to it. Yeah, for sure.
Their next place, make the move. We typically can work something out like that. So when somebody presented you an offer in the past, they give that option to you as well?
All right, so you're doing this to compare, right? That's what you said earlier.
All right, so that you're familiar with that and how it could work. All right. Well, and in your mind, what do you think the house is worth? You sort of like redid the kitchen and did the bathrooms and sort of got everything tied up.
So pause here, Brady. So right now we're negotiating on price. What do you think the house is worth? When we negotiate on what the house is worth, we get anchored against Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com, house, neighborhood, so up the street. Realtor said my property is worth this. Those are all very real and hard numbers that we're now having to negotiate against, which is challenging. We don't like to negotiate against what the house is worth. We like to negotiate on what you like to walk away with. She's talking about survival. She said she has no money in her bank account, right? How much money would you need to be able to move on with your life? How much are you hoping to walk away with so that you can restart? And now we're negotiating against $56,000 versus what ARV. I don't know what ARV is. If you're saying 110 is what she was getting offered, she probably might be worth 180. I don't know, right? But if she says my house is worth 180 and you come in with 120, it's like that's a super low offer. But if you come in like, hey, like how much were you hoping to walk away with, you and your husband, if you guys could split? Okay, so if you guys could each put like 30,000 in your pocket, you'd be able to move on, find a place to live, pay off some credit card debt, and start over fresh over this divorce. If we could do that for you, like how would that be? Right? But now they're like, okay, yeah, we can each get 30,000, take that 60, add that 56, you're in for 116, you're in a good spot. But we're starting at well, my house is worth 180, and how dare you offer me 110? That's super low. Right? You're just negotiating from a different position for leverage.
That's a great point. So one of the things I'm trying to do, and maybe this is an area for me to learn into, is I want to understand sort of where their anchor is that they haven't really revealed to me at that time. And so I'm trying to use that as a tool to help me understand, okay, where are they starting from, so that when I have an offer, I at least can use that as a way to
That's a great
open the
point.
conversation.
That's a great point. What we like to focus on is reframing the conversation. If I can frame this conversation from my positional negotiation point, I'm going to be in a much better position. If we begin negotiations from your vantage point, it's just a lot more work on my end. So we want to reframe where we're starting negotiations at. That's how we're able to buy at deeper margins. So, all right, go ahead, Brady.
If it was done up and done completely, I would say probably pushing it like 190, just because we do have a small lot. It's not large, but we do have a very large backyard, fairly large backyard. And the house itself is in good shape to be, made in the built in the 50s. It just needs some cosmetic things done to it. The neighborhood is great. We've had no issues around here. Our neighbors are nice.
Brady, you can probably skip forward another minute or so. I think there's not a whole lot going on here.
The look records. Here maybe.
6730.
That's 2-bedroom, 1 bath. A little bit more square foot, like 200.
Is this you pulling comps
more?
next?
But
Yeah, this is us just getting an idea of what the market value is. You can keep going a little bit.
Okay.
Well,
So you're pulling out comps. So one thing that you want to understand is, like, whenever we're talking comps, we're talking to the logical part of the brain. The logical part of the brain does not make decisions. The logical part of the brain justifies decisions. The emotional part of the brain is the one that wants to do things, right? So we're not talking about the divorce anymore. We haven't talked about where they're going to go. Like, one of the things I want to make sure, part of our sales process, we want to focus on pain and gain. I want to focus hey, what's going on? How long have you been looking to sell your property? What happened that got you to sell this property? Right? I want to talk about all the bad stuff, including why, how this divorce got to where it is today. I want to have that conversation when I'm buying their house. I want to spend more time talking about that than I want to do about the property. And then after we talk about all those things, I'll talk about like, hey, like let's talk about your life once we're able to start over. Once you're in your new property, once you're in your new apartment or a new RV, mobile home, whatever it is, like once you've like started over, what are you going to do? Where's it going to be? What's it going to be like? I want to talk about this new reality. I want them to experience. I want them to experience this new reality. Because once we can experience this new reality, now we can create this large gap. And this gap is what creates the desire to do something about the situation. We could talk about how much things suck right now, right? We're going to fill them full of stress. We're going to talk about how awesome it's going to be. We're pumping full of dopamine. Now they're going to want that. And that is what we're negotiating about. We're not negotiating about the house, because we're negotiating about the house is a logical conversation. We're negotiating about like, hey, like how awesome it's going to be when you can start all over. Like, how can you not allow yourself to get that?
That's good. Next, I'll scrub through a little more. I'm keeping my eye on the time. I know we want to cover yours and Sergio, so I'll scrub through, and then you let me know what would be a good continuation point.
Got it. Value on
Let's pick
stuff.
let's pick it up about like 10 minutes in. See where that puts us.
9:25.
So you just made the offer for 125? So great pause.
Was that an
So
offer?
would be our next step to really get something
There we go.
in writing. And something you've had an offer at 110. So I know sort of like what you wouldn't be after. Let's see if I could just make some assumptions here.
Okay, so that's you doing math.
In an ideal world, Marion, I'd probably have to be somewhere around 116.
Okay.
And it's totally just me doing sort of the back of the envelope math. I'd love to value your house at 205. I think it hasn't had any updates, but it's got about 200 square feet and attached garage that's sort of bumping that up a little bit. And so I'm just trying to take into account that piece. And then I'm just totally guessing on repairs and condition based on what you shared with me. So, there's a few things that we do that's like a little bit different when we buy houses. And I don't know who you talked to before, but
so now you're justifying your offer, right? And in justifying your offer, what are we signifying? I don't feel good about my offer. So you can't. Anytime you're justifying, you're conveying like you don't believe in it, right? So we gotta be more confident. Like, hey, what if we offered 116,000? So don't justify after you say it. Leave that pause out there, and then also. Say, hey, what I could do is 116. I want to throw out there, hey, Nix, I'm not sure if this is the exact number I can pay, but what if I was able to pay 116? What would be the next steps? And so it's a hypothetical. It gives me a position to leverage. I can go up and go down. I can negotiate other things. But if you say, hey, I can do 116, she got all she needs to hear. Now she can ghost you. Right? If you don't get the contract here, she can ghost you because she's got confidence. She knows your number. Hey, Nix, I'm not promising I can do this, but if I came in, I don't know. What if I could do 116? What would happen then? She doesn't know it's 116. She has an idea it's 116. But she could say, like, 116, man, that's way too low. Okay, what were you hoping to hear? It's like 116, I'll take it. Or 116, I really need to be a 120. Okay, well, I might be able to make that work if you can give me a longer close of escrow. I don't know. But we can now pivot because it's not like a fixed point, right? I can do 116. You've planted your flag in the ground. You got to defend it. What if I could do 116? Well, I don't know about 116. Can you do more? Like, well, now you can now start negotiating, right? So
we close on the timeline. So if you want to speed it up or slow it down, we can do that. We actually pay for all the closing costs and fees. So what I share with you in terms of an offer is a net offer. And I'm not a real estate agent. There'll be no real estate agent involved. And so there's no commissions with that number. So if I could,
and keep in mind, she hasn't said anything.
Like a convenient sale, no hassle, no fees, no commissions, none of that. And we could do 116. Is that something that you guys think you could do?
It's possible. I'd have to talk to him.
Okay.
So pause it here.
I mean, outside
so
of
now
price,
this is where you're kind of like screwed, right? I can do 116. Can you do 116? She's going to talk to him, and then you get ghosted. Hey, what if I could do 116? I don't know. I got to go talk to him. Okay, great. Look, I can't say for sure 116 works for me. It's a little bit on the higher side for me, but let's do this. How about you go talk to your husband, future ex-husband, find out, if 116 even works for him. If it does, then I can make sure that works. I can go back to my office, make sure I get that for you. But if you're telling me like you're not even sure if that works for him, I can't even commit to the 116 right now. And that goes back to what if I could do 116 versus I can do 116. Because now that she knows you could do 116, there's no reason to call you back unless you're the highest offer. What if I could do 116? Well, maybe I'll give him a call back. Maybe he can do more. I don't know. Right? So this is why we don't want them to know our number. We want them to have a pretty good idea what our number is.
That's good.
Lindsay, is there anything about sort of the way I would structure the offer for you or my company that would keep you from accepting my offer? I just want to make sure if there's anything else I can share with you about sort of how we do business or who we are. I made sure that's clear to you all. Clear to you.
I don't think so. It's just trying to get enough money. We obviously, have nowhere to go currently, so we would need, down payments and car payments and all that fun stuff. So I'm just trying to play it all by ear.
Right, and this is all the information I would have uncovered before making my offer.
So if I could get you, say, 30 days post closing to get things sorted out, so you'd have the money in hand, and then that could sort of help get deposits on, apartment or whatever your next stop is, and you can get moved. Do you think that's something we could do?
That could be a possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, she's giving you wishy-washy answers. She's not committed to anything.
One more thing for consideration. What if I helped you with the move? So I got some good guys that have a big truck and could, spend a day helping you guys get things moved, so you don't have to take on that effort on your side. Is that something you think that would
be beneficial? Yeah.
A really big help. Okay. So obviously I don't want to put you on the spot. You just met me. But I think if we could do 116, we give you 30 days after closing to move, and then we could help you with that move itself. I think that would put it in a place where I could close on your terms. I could pay for all the closing costs. You guys would be nothing out of pocket in terms of commissions, and it would just be quick and easy. Obviously, you're not the only person that's got to make a decision here, but is that something you think would be, does it sound fair and reasonable?
I think it does, yes. I would just need to see what he would want to do.
Okay.
Yeah. So she's got total ability to just squirrel away here, right? So I think the biggest thing is all those things you talked about here is pay closing costs, moving truck, post-possession, all those things. I would say all those things, would those be beneficial? And they say, yes, those would be beneficial. How would that be beneficial? Have her sell you some more on how those things would be helpful for her. And after all that, okay, in order to be able to do all that, what if we could do 116? Right? Especially because there's another decision maker here. We definitely don't want her to know our number. So I think that's the biggest thing. So does that help?
This is crazy helpful, and we're going to go back and dissect this call and see if we can make a bunch of improvements on our end. Hey, Brady, there won't be a whole lot after this. Sure. I mean, I think just some pleasantries and wrapping up on the call. Cool. But I know you're pressed for time. And Steve, thank you. Pleasure to meet you. And
you're welcome.
For feedback.
Absolutely.
Sweet.
My pleasure.
Awesome. That was super valuable. I was just about to ask. I was like, I think that's the meat of it, but you guys tell me. So Awesome. Everybody in the comments, let me know as we transition calls real quick to Sergio. Let me know one big takeaway in the chat. What was one thing Steve said that stood out to you? One new nugget you picked up? Or I see Dean Rogers, Mike Otranto chimed in the chat. If there's one thing you would phrase differently, if you have an opinion, put that in the chat too. I love the feedback from the community. So, Sergio, are you ready, dude?
Hey,
I'm ready.
how's it going? This is Sergio.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
All right.
That's good to hear. I was just giving you a quick call. Looks like you filled.
Sorry, I totally forgot to have you set the stage. Sergio, how long you been investing? What market are you in? Where'd the lead come from? My apologies, man. And tell
Okay,
us
no, you're
how
good.
this panned out.
So this lead, it was a web form submission on my website. I've been doing real estate. I bought my first rental on the MLS, paid full market, back in 2018. Didn't get into the wholesaling maybe around COVID 2020, 2021 time. Currently, most of the deals that I do, I have somebody else do the acquisition and disposition and TC. I work a full-time engineering job. This one was a lead form submission, so I just decided to take the call.
Sweet. And this is Sergio's beautiful face, decent looking website. Got video on there. This is great. And you're in Detroit.
Yep, Metro Detroit. And
Nice.
for this particular lead, she had not picked up for like over a week. So I didn't even know if the property was still available, which you can hear in the beginning of the call.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And like we've done with Nix's, feel free to let me skip ahead if we get to a part that's just back and forth, whatever.
Okay.
On my website about your house in Detroit.
So just real quick here,
Just wanted
same thing. Hi, is this so-and-so? And the other thing Sergio added here is, how are you doing? Which is just totally a salesperson, like, common practice. Like, when we get calls from salespeople, they do the same thing to us. That's just a habit you want to remove unless you genuinely care how they're doing. Like, if you're like, that question's been burning in your mind, like, are they doing okay? Then ask that question. Otherwise, it can come across as disingenuous because it's so, like, we just kind of throw it out there. Kind of like, you know, you watch these post-game interviews from these athletes, and they'll just throw in a lot of, you know what I'm saying? So they'll say whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it's just total filler language. So you don't want to throw out that filler language, particularly how you doing, because like that is just total like salesperson filler language.
Interesting. I love the post-game analogy. Like, does the athlete ever say anything different? It's so predictable every time. Like, you could just record that and play a loop after every game. Oh my God.
Seriously.
see if you were still possibly looking to sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And is this a good time to talk?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I'll pause it here.
I never.
So, yeah, yes, not very helpful answers. What goes to your mind, Sergio, when you hear that?
She was just being very short, so I just didn't know if I caught her at a bad time, which is why I asked.
Yeah. So for me, I hear yeah, yes. I'm hearing closed personality, and I am getting mentally prepared to start working, because to have a conversation with a person with a closed personality, I gotta be super intentional to like really pull as much out of them as possible. There might be, I might put a little more warmth in my tone. I might slow it down a little bit. I'll have more awkward silence, but I just know that I'm going to have to work more, because you're going to have some people that will just talk and talk and talk. So we got to figure out how to control the conversation, get them to talk less. So it's got a closed personality. I just know I'm going to have to put in work to pull more information out of them. Other thing too, you asked here, is this a good time? So you mentioned earlier that you saw my stuff in Closed Olympics. We don't like is now a good time. What I always like to do is assume it's a bad time. Hey, Sergio, I probably caught you at a bad time. Or, hey, Sergio, I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. And those are both assumptive statements that are negative, which a natural answer to both of those is like, no, this is not a bad time. And now they've given me permission to talk, but they gave me permission to talk. Right? I didn't say, hey, can I talk to you? I was like, hey, I hope I didn't catch you at a bad time. No, I got a couple minutes. Okay, great. And then you can have the conversation. So you've addressed the interruption, but then you still have permission to talk. So, go ahead, Brady.
What was your name?
Sylvia.
Sorry, what was that?
Sylvia.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, nice to meet you. My name is Sergio.
Nice to meet you.
So I'm just going to be asking you a couple questions, about the house and your situation, just to get a little bit more information. But as I pull your house up, what was it about the ad that made you want to click it?
You click on you guys' ad?
Yeah, on Google it looks like. Well, what was it about the Google ad that got you interested?
You guys had a good rating.
Okay.
Gosh, she doesn't want to say very much.
So what's got you possibly looking to wanting to sell this house?
The reason why I want to sell it for?
Yeah.
Because I kind of been in this same house for a long time, and I kind of want something new and a new start somewhere else.
So pause it here. So she said here, I like the ratings you have. You can write it here, or you can talk about it here, or you can write it down. But that's definitely something you want to leverage later on. So when you're like, well, I'm going with this, I'm talking to this person, that person. Hey, Sylvia, I just want to make sure. So earlier in the conversation, you had mentioned that the reason why you clicked on our particular site was because you liked our rating. What was important to you when you saw our rating? To kind of bring her back to like, hey, I talked to Sergio because of the rating, right? So I'm going to bring that back later on. So anytime you hear something like that, you want to at least write it down so you can bring it back later on as ammo.
Really good point. Yep.
Do you plan on staying in Michigan?
I kind of don't know yet. Actually, I kind of really want to leave the country, but if I do, somewhere further up north, Michigan.
North Michigan or outside the country.
Up north. Okay. Yeah, because I talked to a lot of people. I'm actually buying a house in Taylor, and they're moving up north as well, coincidentally. So very interesting that people are.
So I like that you're using the story here, Sergio.
Okay.
Positive rating. So it says like I'm buying a house in Taylor. I'm working with a family in Taylor who's selling their house. Right? Because like that's who she is. She's a person in Taylor. So it's not about like I buy this house. It's about how this other family we're able to buy the house from. Because that's how she can see herself benefiting for this conversation. I'm buying a house in Taylor. It indicates that you're buying a house, but she can't put herself in that story. Hey, I'm helping this other family out in Taylor. And like, oh yeah, I want to be like the other family that's being helped. So like it's just a small, tiny nuance there.
Ooh, that's gold.
Okay.
Okay. So you currently occupy this house. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And you've been staying here for how long?
17 years.
Wow, 17 years. Does that get you excited that you're moving now? It's been a long time.
It's bittersweet.
Yeah, it's been a long time. It probably feels like, is there any emotional attachment to the house?
It definitely.
Okay.
So this is a line of questioning that I wouldn't necessarily spend time on because every minute talking about like how much she's gonna have a hard time moving is like hurting you, right? I would talk about like how long have you been thinking about moving. Then we're gonna be talking about her wanting to move. You did ask her in some way, like, where are you going outside the country or North Michigan? You could talk about like, how long you've been thinking about moving. Where would you want to go? Okay, Michigan. Okay, what about Northern Michigan do you like? And so just these are things that we can pull from later on when we're talking about in negotiations. So go ahead.
How soon were you looking to make this move?
That's a good question. Well, after we could talk about a number, and if that is feasible, then I could tell you how soon that would be.
Okay. So it really depends on the price?
Correct.
Okay. So, I guess I'm just curious, what happens if all the offers don't come in at the number that you're looking for? What would happen then?
I bet I'd probably
Great question.
just keep it and just probably take out the equity in the house because it's basically fixed up. I basically had a full rehab.
Oh, nice.
So the house, like like whatever you could look on Zillow and see like the front of the house. That's not how it looks currently now.
Okay, yeah, because I am looking at the Zillow picture. It does look like it needs a new roof.
Oh no, that's all done. So for the last 5 months, I have it's a new roof, new electrical, new plumbing, new porch, new foundation. I actually jacked up the floor. Right now, I'm in the process of remodeling the bathroom and the windows, and that's currently needed for this house.
Wow, okay, so you did a full remodel yourself.
Correct.
Wow, congratulations. Most people, they don't know how to do that kind of stuff.
Good job stroking her ego. Got her laughing. That's a win.
How long did it take you to do that?
I've been working on it since April.
April, so a couple months. Okay. That's awesome. How much did you spend on it total?
I want to say roughly about 50,000.
About 50,000.
Yep.
60,000.
Correct.
Yeah, I would say that's about how much full remodels cost. If you did absolutely everything, drywall, paint, insulation, electrical, bathrooms, kitchen, outside, inside, roof, there's a whole slew of things, right? If you did everything, that's ballpark about how much things cost, which is interesting, right? Because a lot of people are like thinking that we're still like pre-COVID, and they're like, why does it cost so much to fix up a house? And it's like, yeah, times have changed. I don't make the rules, I just report them. But okay, and then I know you said you have like a number in mind.
So
what
right now we haven't really talked about why she's selling. Right, we haven't talked about any reasons to sell, and we're not talking about reasons to sell. Then we're gonna have a hard time negotiations. Right, all negotiations will be about price. And can we win negotiating on price? Absolutely, we can run a business just negotiating on price. But if we want to have, a super profitable business, we have to have higher margins with high conversion rates. And the way to have higher margins, higher conversion rates is to get emotions involved, right? So I brought up the iPhone earlier, right? Like, it's $1,200 for an iPhone. You could buy a phone for like $300. Why do we spend money on an iPhone? There's the convenience, there's the feelings, right? There's all these things associated with it. But we could totally get a phone for less than that, right? So we got to get the emotions behind this, the reason why they're going to do something. You guys might have seen me rant about like there's no good reasons to own a Lamborghini, right? The only reason to own a Lamborghini is so that you can take a picture for it for Instagram or go out to the clubs to attract, the opposite sex. That's the only reason to own a Lamborghini, right? And so that is all emotional stuff. That's all identity stuff. That's not a logical reason to do something. But they'll spend a lot more for that car. So right now, if you're gonna want her to sell her house after she put $50,000 into it, if you want her to sell her house for a significant discount, there's got to be emotional reasons, and we haven't uncovered a single one yet, right? Like she's not moving out of the country. My guess is she hates Trump. That's where my head goes. It's just a move out of the country, right? I want to talk about how this country's falling apart, how it's becoming this a fascist country, whatever it is. I want her to rant about that, how she doesn't feel safe where she lives. I want to talk about all those things before we talk about price, right? I want to hear the city's falling apart, or lost a job, whatever. Like she clearly doesn't have cash problems. But I want to find like all the bad things that are happening that would make her want to sell now.
So what do you think is the question I should be asking to start uncovering that motivation?
Hey, Sylvia, like I saw that you filled out a form to sell your property to investors. I'm curious. Why would you sell your properties to an investor like myself? All right, that's just the first question. Right? Why would you sell your property to an investor? And then I want to hear like, I'm tired of dealing with this house. I'm tired of, living in this country, whatever it is. How long has that been going on? How long have you been thinking this country's on the wrong track? right? Or how long have you been worried about your city? Or how long have you been worried about your job? Right. So we talk about like, the questions I like to ask in a pain funnel is, what's going on? How long's been going on? What have you tried to do to fix it? Did that work? What else have you tried? Who else knows about this? What happens if we can't help you? Um, just a long line of questions talking about why they're selling. Because there's like why you're selling, this is why you're really selling. I'll give you an example. This example I use quite a bit in our training, right? So like I had a guy, I bought his property, and the note says he wants to move to California. Okay, that's why he wants to sell, right? But why did he really want to sell after running the whole appointment? He's got 3 grown sons who are all doing really well in life, but he worked really hard. He was never available for them, right? He did what he had to do to put his 3 kids, to become successful people, but he doesn't have that connection with them. And now they're all grown up, and now they've got grandkids. He wants to make up for lost time. He wants to be with his grandkids. So he wants to move to California because he feels like a bad father, and he wants to make up for lost time by being there for his grandkids. It's a very different reason than I want to move to California. Right? So there's like why you want to sell, and it's like, why do you really want to sell? What's really going on?
Right.
So anyway, you can keep going.
That's good.
Sell it for?
130 at 130.
130. Okay.
I believe that after the little minor things that need to be done, like I said, the windows, if I decide just to leave the bathroom alone just like that, that's why I went down a little bit on the price, because I know you guys say that you buy it as is, but after like the whole remodeling, I do believe that you will be able to get about a good 230, 240 for this particular house.
Okay, and you're okay with selling it for 130, even if after remodeling or completing the project it sells for the 230?
Yes.
That's very weird.
Why is that?
Because I just like that number. I definitely like that number, and also just like the value, basically in the neighborhood and the current value of the different houses that have sold in this neighborhood. So I kind of compare it to it, even though I could get possibly a little bit more. But right now, it's just that I'm kind of like just stuck. There's no more funds to finish the bathroom, really. And if I was to finish it, I just have to put in like the regular tub that just came in. That's already been in there, and that's fine because a lot of people do want that tub, like the brass tub, the old
So it's
tub.
out of cash. So now we're finding something here.
But I would have to put that back in or just leave it as is. So that's why the number I feel kind of is feasible.
Is at 130, right? Okay. How much more do you think it needs then in work?
I want to say about a good 30,000, 40,000.
Okay.
A lot of money putting into this house.
You said you kind of want to leave Detroit. Why is that? Why do you want to move up north?
Because I just want more land. Been in the city all my life, and I just want change. Just something different, something new.
Okay. Yeah, the city life and the rural life are like complete polar opposites.
Yeah, so now that I'm older, I just want something a little bit more mellow, a little bit more quieter, get a little bit of farmland, probably, just be a little bit quiet and peaceful.
All right. So, obviously, the way our process
So now you're
works
going into back to negotiations, right?
I'm basically
So right there,
gonna make all
I
this
spent a lot more time talking about, again, how long you've been wanting to go more rural, right?
Right.
Because she said earlier she was tired. She's been in this house for a long time. So I want to talk about how long you've been thinking about doing it. How come you haven't done it before? What stopped you from doing it before? I want to talk about all those things. But then also, like she mentioned, she's out of money. I would ask what happened. Is this a situation where it just got out of control? Like she had a budget and she just blew past it? Probably.
Right.
Or is a situation where like, hey, like I was in the middle of this remodel, everything was good, and then a life event occurred. So like maybe she started the remodel. She said like, earlier this year, March or whatever. But then maybe like in the middle of the remodel, like a life event occurred. Like someone got sick in the family or whatever else, right? Someone got imprisoned. I don't know. But something's happened where she can't finish it. I want to find out what happened that she can't finish it. Because again, these are things we're going to be using as if we were negotiating them. Like, well, we can get this done. Now you can go ahead and take care of this, right?
Right. I missed the breadcrumbs, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know these details. And these are the details that we require when we're wrapping up the sale. Because like I was saying earlier with Nick's, right? Like big part of our sales process is the reframe. The reframe is not going to be like, hey, you selling your house for X or you for X amount of money. The reframe is like you're going to be able to take care of A, B, and C with the money you get from the sale of the property. That's the reframe. But we can't have that reframe if we don't know why they're selling the property, what the consequences are. So a few things to talk about in our sales process, right? So basically we talk about, a sales process kind of like playing poker, and they've got 5 cards and we want to see all 5 cards in their hand. First card, why are you selling? Second card, why now? Like, why not 6 months ago? Why not 6 months from now? Why do you need to sell now? What's happened? You need to sell now. Why me? Why not sell it with a realtor? Why not sell it to a tenant? Why not sell someone else? Like, why do you want to sell to a cash buyer? Right? Card number 4, what are the consequences of inaction? If you don't sell your property, what happens? If you can't, and I heard you ask this question, right? If you can't sell the property, what happens? Right? I'll just say here. But it's still an important question to ask, especially with more information. You might get a different answer. And the last question is, why are you really selling? What's really going on? And we don't know that. And that's the most important card. If we don't know what that card is, then we're going to pay more for the property than we need to. Or we don't get the contract.
Right.
Information. I am a licensed agent myself, so I do have access to like the MLS, which kind of gives me information on what houses in the neighborhood sell for and everything. So I'm gonna, run a little bit of research, and then, based on that, I can, give you a call back and let you know what the house would qualify for an actual based on that information.
Don't hang up. So you mentioned it took a week to get a hold of her, right? Like we can't ever hang up the phone. If I get you on the phone, I got to figure out how to buy your house on the phone. Now, maybe you can have a call right back, but this whole thing about like, let me go gather some information and I'll call you back. Are you running a different process where like this is like the information gathering mode and you have another conversation where you're actually going to negotiate? Is that kind of?
Yeah, I have like a process call where I get all the information and then I just call her right back in the next 30 minutes.
And then what do you do?
Walk her through what the offers looks like and then give her that offer. Okay.
So the things I want you to be aware of, right? So I was saying earlier, people make decisions based off emotions, not off of logic, right? Not off of reason. I want to make sure if you do a 2-step call, process call, offer call, that's fine. I just want to make sure that the amount of time from when they're emotional until we're negotiating, until we have a signed contract or a contract is presented, I want to have that time to be as short as possible, right? Because the longer time drags on, the less likely they're going to sign the contract. I mean, just think about, have you ever had a conversation with a homeowner where like it just seemed like you guys have known each other for years, and you talk to them the next day and it's like, who is that person? That's not the person I talked to yesterday.
Yeah.
What's happened is all those emotions, all that rapport, all that stuff disappeared. It's gone forever. Right? So we have to start all over to build that rapport again. So like for me, the amount of time, like when I get you emotional to negotiations to contract, that has got to be as short a time as possible. We don't want to drag it out. So, like I see here, we're 9 minutes in, there's gonna be another 5-6 minutes, and you have another conversation to do the offer call. That's fine. You want to have a separate call, like there's an intake call and a negotiations call. I don't know. If you're able to pull comms right now and you can have a conversation with her about her potential selling her property, I would try to do it on this call versus bring it on a separate call.
So how do you decide when to make the offer on the first call versus call them back and make it on the second call?
So our team is trained to call always to book appointments initially. But then if in the conversation it sounds like they're ready to go, then we'll just pivot to make the offer. And what it will sound like, hey, Sergio, given our conversation we've had so far, it sounds like you're ready to put this behind you right now. And they're like, yeah, I'm ready to put this behind me right now. So, okay, so if I could pay a price that made sense for you, at that point, you feel comfortable committing to working with us? Yes. Okay, got it. And then now I pivot to an actual conversation about buying the property. So I think you're on you're doing the right thing, right? Setting an appointment and then moving on. But like, we talked a little bit about like why you're selling, but then we didn't really finish that conversation. So you're doing a 2-step call. That's fine. But it seemed like she was ready to have a conversation about selling her house. I would have that conversation about selling her house right then and there.
Right.
Sweet.
And I don't do this always. I don't do it always, but in this instance, I'm hearing enough that I could try to go for the call here. Go for the close here. Go ahead, Brady.
Sweet. I was just going to say, I'm going to hit play. Sergio, let me know where I can scrub ahead the juiciest spots because we got about 5-10 minutes left. I want to make sure we have a couple minutes at the end for questions and any questions you have, Sergio, and questions in the audience.
Well, I will also say, though, I am a buyer myself. Like I said, I'm buying a house in Taylor. But just because we get so many leads, so many opportunities, sometimes what we end up doing is, because we're so well connected here in the area, sometimes we just let another investor buy the house. But that changes nothing on your end. Whatever price that we agree on, that's the price that you'll end up getting. Would that be an issue for you?
So there's a lot of information here
No.
that doesn't help her make a decision.
Awesome. Just wanted to make sure. All right. So
Basically, you're a wholesaler?
I have done wholesales and I buy myself. Correct.
Awesome.
Okay. So if you guys want it,
Her
well,
tone changes a
my
little bit.
question is with
Oh, sorry.
I was
Were you
gonna say her
saying
tone.
pause? Oh, okay.
No, I'm saying her tone changed just a little bit there.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
you're just a wholesaler. Her tone changed a little bit there.
my situation,
And this is what I'm talking about. Like
is
you're
to
inserting
go
objections
and
into the
find a
conversation.
buyer? Or is that just to buy this house?
I'm not sure yet. Like I said, we do buy. It really depends on where we are in funds and our projects and everything. But if we don't end up buying, we do know like a bunch of buyers, and like we don't want to put you in a situation where like, because I know a lot of wholesalers do this, right? Where they agree on a price and then they're like coming in at the last minute and they're like, yeah, that's not gonna work. Like we try to keep things.
You're inserting more objections for yourself here.
which is why I'm letting you know about this. And yeah, we try to make it work for everyone at the end of the day, right? Like you said, you wanted to move up north, so our goal is to help you do that.
So I'll pause it here, Brady. So right now you're explaining, I'm different. I won't do this to you, right? Like I'll take care of you. All these things, right?
Mhm.
Nice messaging, but everybody says that, and there's no way for her to measure whether you're different than everybody else. So I'm not questioning your integrity or character here. It's just there's no way I can tell from a person on the phone when they're saying on the other side if they mean it or not. So instead of saying, here's how we're different, here's what we can do, I would just say, oh, you've heard of wholesaling. That's great. You're more educated than most of the homeowners we talk to. When you ask me about whether I'm a wholesaler, I'm curious, what about me being a wholesaler is most concerning to you?
Mm.
And they could say, well, I want to make sure you don't do this, you don't do this. Okay, so if I can show you that we won't do those things, I could put that all in writing. At that point, would I address your concern? Would you feel comfortable? Now I can hit the target because she's told me what target to hit.
Right.
Right now, we're kind of scrambling to say, well, we do this, we do this, we do this. And again, it's true. But from one stranger to another, how can she possibly differentiate you from another wholesaler that has low integrity from saying the same thing? She can't. She cannot differentiate. But if you say, hey, you know what? You're obviously, this business. You're sophisticated. You're a lot more educated than all the other homeowners we talk to. When you're saying you're concerned, you mentioned me being a wholesaler. What about that most concerns you? Okay, we can address that. Would you feel good? Now we sound different than the other wholesalers. Make sense?
I like that. Yeah. Yep. I agree.
That's good.
You has to make sense for the investor and has to make sense for everybody at the end of the day, right?
Okay. Now, I do have another question. So you guys would meet me at my price. How soon will the closing take place? If and when we do fill out the purchase agreement?
Yeah, so typically closings happen between the 21 to 24 day mark, but I always put in the agreement 30
So here,
days just in case.
you
things
answered
come
her
up on
question with an answer, which again is totally normal. But someone asked me that question. Hey, that's a very interesting question you asked me there, Sylvia. When would you like me to have the closing date? When would you like to make sure you have the money by? Now we can customize the contract to what she wants. Right? And now we can address her concerns. So you say 21, 24 days, but she's like, well, I need to have this in 18 days. And now she like cancels you out. But if the price makes sense, you can get it done in 18 days.
Right.
So, hey, that's an interesting question. When do you want us to have this done by? And she says, I need this done 2 weeks from today. Okay, so if I can guarantee I can get this done 2 weeks from today, what would happen next? I'm ready to go. Okay, great. Right, now you can hit the target because you know what the target is to hit. But you're aiming at a target that you can't see. Pretty hit a target that you can't see.
Sweet. That's good. I will hit play. We have 5 minutes left. I want to make sure, Sergio, if you have any questions, if the audience has any questions, we can answer those. Is there any one part of the rest of this call, Sergio, that you feel like would be critical or that you want feedback on? If not, we can
I'm
play
not
like the
really
next minute or
sure.
two.
Yeah.
That's
Not
okay.
really sure which part.
We'll play about the next minute or so.
I would just say, Sergio, you got questions. Like, let's talk that through. Like, anything I've said here doesn't make sense to you.
No, everything's making sense. I like all your feedback so far, so definitely gonna put that into work.
Sweet.
Okay.
This is good. I'll play about 1 more minute. Everybody, put a thank you in the chat for Steve for being so generous, for hopping on here. If you have any questions at all on negotiation, if there's one objection you get stuck on, if there's anything you've been stuck on mentally, put that in the chat so we can answer for you on this call. We'll play another minute here, and we will bring this to a close before we bring on our good friend Henry.
There is a point in the call.
Needs to be cleared. So
Oh, yeah, go ahead, Sergio.
I was gonna say there is a point in the call where I anchor because she says she wants 130. Could you go to that part?
Let me see here. 30 days.
And I talked about listing. Why doesn't she list it? She said
60 to 90 days. Cash offer. Give you a call back. Right here?
Yeah,
It's
go
the
back
bit-
a little bit. Go back
Okay.
like 10 seconds. Right there.
the finance team, they come back and they're like, yeah, I think the best we could do would be 90, 95. What would you say to that?
I definitely cannot go below six figures.
Okay.
There's no such thing. Like I stay in 48206 area code. We developed in this area. They had a house on Linwood, sold for $339. They had houses around the corner of Philadelphia, sold for $279, $269. Another one down on my street for $239. Okay, they just had one next door, 1728, that sold for $50,000. That's just because
Yeah,
it
she's
was just
aggravated now.
nothing done.
Right.
So when I say when I say 130, I'm actually cheating myself. So I would definitely go no lower than that.
Right. You wouldn't go lower than the six figures.
Correct. So 130, I would not go below 125. Definitely would not.
125. That would be the best that you could do. Okay. All right, Sylvia. So I'm gonna give you a call. Are you available in the next 30 minutes, maybe at 2:30?
Okay.
Are you available at that time?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna give you a call at 2:30 from this same.
Okay,
Sweet.
so you did a pretty good thing there. I would just say, you could tell she's flustered once you hit the anchor, which is fine. This is part of the process. But once she's flustered, and then you call back at 2:30, say, hey, I'm going to go back, talk to my team, and I'm going to go fight for you. So I just want to make sure, like, we're good, right? Like, I call you back at 2:30, you're fully committed. You'll be available to answer the call at 2:30. Because I had to go back and fight with my team. Because right there, she sounds less sold on working with you.
Yeah.
Right? Because you can hear it.
Good point.
Like she started off really cold. In the middle of it, she was laughing with you. Like you did a good job building rapport. At the end, she was kind of pissed. If I know she's kind of pissed, we got to like, hey, look, I agree with you. You know that 90.95 is really low. I'm gonna go back and fight for you. I'm gonna see what the most I can get for you. But if I'm gonna go do that, I just need to know like you're still with me here when I call you back at 2:30. And I'm only doing that because you can tell she's kind of pissed.
Yeah.
Right? So you gotta listen for that. If they sound like if their tone has changed, or their attitude has changed, we have to be sensitive to that so that we can make sure we pivot and make sure we don't lose the sale.
So in that offer call, let's say I offer, let's just say I offered 100 hypothetically. She says, absolutely not, can't go below. Like, is it like a done deal? Like, she can't go below 6 figures?
I mean, we don't know. The thing is, we still don't know like why she ran out of money. So it's kind of hard. I don't have as much to negotiate with. But if I know why she ran out of money, if I know why North Michigan, if I know why she's willing to move out of the country, if I know why she's like, I have to have all this ammo, because all that ammo is how we get her off that 130, 125 number. Right now, you're going in the battle and you're ill-equipped. So we got to gather that information. We got to gather more information from her.
Okay.
That's
So
good.
dig deeper. Yeah, I got to dig deeper in motivation.
Yeah, I compare it to like when you're playing Zelda as a kid, you know, Legend of Zelda, like you had to go like break all the jars. You got to collect all the healing potions, all the mana potions, all the arrows, all the keys. Like you're in the castle, you're collecting everything you have. So you're ready for the fight with the final boss. When you go and have that fight with the final boss, you want to have everything available to you. And right now you're going to fight the final boss, you don't have like, you know, all your arrows ready to fire.
That's good. All right, we are at time. Sergio, thank you for hopping on. Was this valuable for you?
Absolutely. I mean, he hit all the right points. I don't think he was critical. I think he was spot on with everything. So I really
Nice.
appreciate all the feedback.
Nice. Awesome.
Great feedback.
Well, thank you, Steve, for hopping on. Real quick, before we close this session out and bring on Henry in just a minute, where can people find you? I see Objection-Proof AI on the screen. I want to give you a shameless plug. What are you working on? You're working on some pretty stinking cool stuff. You want to mention that real quick?
Yeah. So we've offered 3 AI tools. We have automatic call reviews, which you can test it out objectionproof.ai. We have role play bots now, which you can test. You can play with if you text role play to 33777, role play 33777. You can test our role play bots. And now we have an AI lead manager, which I'm working with John on your guys' team to build out the AI lead manager into the Carrot CRM, which I'm super excited about.
I'm so pumped about that, man. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're rolling out all sorts of fun stuff in the AI world. I think this is like, you can't not be paying attention to AI and what's happening in real estate. So you're welcome, Stephanie. So yeah, like our AI lead manager is going to be out, or our AI lead manager is out. We are building it out with Carrot CRM. We have one client who got 50 appointments last week from our AI lead manager. Couldn't be more excited for that.
50 appointments from an ALE manager. That's mind-blowing. That's super cool.
Yeah.
Well, super excited to integrate with you, and thank you again. Trevor, you want to say a quick word before we hop over to Henry?
Thanks, Steve. I've been listening the whole time, man, and I saw Dean Rogers on here, who's an extremely experienced investor. And it's like, man, the value there is amazing, dude. I know your time's valuable and appreciate you. And like you said, John, you've been working hard with John, and I don't know if we're the first, but I know we're really pushing forward for that partnership with you to get your tools inside of our software. And that's kind of one of the things that we're saying is we believe integrations are great. We believe when you can integrate with the best of class tools in the world and have the best things together working seamlessly, that's how you win, man. So we're pumped to be able to work with you, get that in the system. I know Nick Perry's team, who uses Carrot CRM Investor Fuse 3.0, has started the process with your Objection-Proof AI, and it was really cool seeing what they've been talking about it. So guys, pair those two tools together. It's going to kill it for y'all.